Probably the number one question that I get asked through our website and on social media is, hey Mike, what is going on with the Overland Expedition trailer? Now, we haven't put any videos out about it since probably last fall, but quite a bit has been going on with it, and I'm going to reveal today exactly what has happened, give you a kind of a brief tour of the inside of it, and talk about what is still left to be accomplished. Now, let me take you back a ways to about 4 years ago when this project actually started. I had purchased an M1102 military trailer, brand new actually, from the U.S. military, and spent the better part of probably the first 2 years designing, engineering, and putting together the shell and the framing that would become the trailer. And then last year, I kind of completed the exterior of it, if you will. We painted it, finished off the roofing, put the lighting in for the road lighting, and did a bunch of work on it. And then kind of left off with finishing for Overland Expo in the fall last year, Expo East. We finished putting in, Paul and myself put in the bathroom part of it, which is the hot water shower in the system and the cassette toilet. And then largely the rest of it was an open shell inside. So over the past 3 months I've been doing quite a bit of work, and I have not shown you the videos, although we have filmed a bunch of stuff, and I will be showing you. I'm going to go a little bit backwards here and do the reveal of how it looks today, and kind of explain why some of it has happened and why some of it hasn't happened. So let me talk about the goals for a minute. And the goal for the trailer has always been, and you guys are probably well aware, there are a ton of options on the overland and adventure market for trailers out there. And the prices of them range, probably honestly the cheapest one I've seen is maybe in the $4,000 or $5,000 range. And I just saw one the other day, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I won't mention the name of the brand, down at Overland Expo East coming up, that is going for in the $70,000 range. So there's a broad range. Number one, I wanted to kind of show and prove that you could build a trailer from scratch, and my target goal was to come in between $20,000 and $24,000 all in. Now, that's a lot of money, but at the same time, for what I'm doing with it and what I'm putting into it, it's probably not a lot of money if you compare it to the other trailers. Because my number one goal, for one, was that I could sit inside it, stand inside of it. Most of the trailers on the market are really essentially open up trailers where your camping gear, folds out, slides out. They usually have a rooftop tent, but they're not really protected from the elements, if you will. You can get inside of it, close up the doors, put the heat on, and be happy. So that was number one goal, was to kind of hit that ballpark from a price range. The second thing was I wanted to be able to do it both on a budget and accomplish it with what I'm going to call my homeowner skill set. I'm certainly not an electrician. You've heard me talk about that in other videos. And I'm going to take you on a little tour here, but I'm not really the greatest trim guy either. So there's a number of things and challenges that I've run into just because either not having the correct tool or the skill set to do it. But I'm going to show you that you can do it. And one of the reasons for creating some of these videos is that you can get some ideas for whether maybe it's not a trailer that you're building or something else on your rig, or who knows what else you're trying to do, but you get some ideas and look at kind of some of the things that I've done. So that was the goal. First, hit the budget. Two, be able to do it myself with very little outside support. I didn't want to have to be taking the trailer to various contractors and different people to do builds and stuff. I wanted to be able to pretty much accomplish it in my driveway. The next set of things that I wanted to go into this thing, and I wasn't too sure when I first started out building it, I wanted to obviously be able to sleep inside of it in relative comfort, protected from the elements. 1. 2, and you've probably heard me talk about this before too, I wanted to have a real stand-up hot shower that worked like it works when you're at home. Turn the water on, stand under it, not be in an incredible rush, not be outside with some tent set up around you, wallowing in the wet earth and mud and grass that you're standing in, and be able to reasonably take a shower when you want to. And with that set up in the bathroom, also have a cassette toilet that was easily maintained, easily dumped, not having to deal with gray water tanks and black water tanks and all the rest of it that you're going to end up in a big RV. So that's the second thing. The third thing was to have the space to keep a refrigerator on board, to store food and stuff that you're going to cook with. Fourth was to have a desk set up so that in the event of bad weather or that I'm on a road for an extended period of time where I wanted to produce videos like this, or be able to connect or just work or watch a movie, I wanted to have a desk kind of set up so I could plug in all of my apparatuses, my camera equipment, my laptop computer, stuff like that, and be able to sit and be able to do that. And then probably the fifth thing was to be able to roll into camp and not have to spend a whole lot of time setting up. So obviously I have a ton of experience with camping, backpacking across Africa, camping in or out of a vehicle-based environment, ground tents, rooftop tents, and that's kind of where the trailer thing came from. So the trailer was sort of the next iteration of that. But key to that was rolling into camp and not having to spend a lot of time. Let's say it was late in the day and it was already getting dark or dark, or it was crappy weather out and you don't want to have to deal with getting wet while you're folding tents or setting tents up or the rest of it. I wanted to basically be able to open up the door to the trailer, walk inside, and my clothes are hanging up. Everything is as it would be kind of sort of in your house. And that's it. And I think that the biggest thing that I probably left out that you're probably waiting for me to talk about is the cooking setup. And originally that was part of this, sort of build. And then I realized that, hey, this is, I don't know, 10 by 8 size, 10 by 9, something like that, 11 by 9 size trailer. And I don't really have the space to cook inside, nor particularly do I want to. Because one of the things I found in the past owning RVs and pop-up campers and stuff is you don't really want to cook inside. So that I moved to the outside, and I have that Alucab shadow awning, so I've got a fair amount of coverage outside anyways in the event of bad weather or very sunny hot conditions. And although I'm carrying the propane and the cooking materials and the equipment on board, the cooking itself will happen outside. So that is the one thing that I would have to set up. I roll into camp. I cook almost exclusively with the Tembo Tusk Scottle. You can cook anything on that thing. That's another video. We can talk about cooking in camp. But essentially my setup is very quick and easy anyways. So that doesn't have to happen inside. And that's it. So those were the goals, really, largely focused on a budget, being able to do it myself, bathroom, sleeping, desk, refrigerator, place to put my clothes. And that's about it. Now, things that are thought about in this build that are critical is being able to be self-supporting on the road for extended periods of time. And what usually comes up in that discussion is power, right? Because all these things are great. Taking a shower is great. If you don't have the pump, the energy to run the pump, it's not happening. If you don't have the storage capacity to carry the water or to get the water to your shower, it's not happening. Same likewise with power. The refrigerator runs on power. Plugging in, charging batteries to run my camera here takes power. So lighting inside the trailer to be able to see takes power. So I put a lot of time, energy, and effort into the design of that, and admittedly I've had to use some outside support to work on the design, although I'm going to install all of it myself. So briefly, those things you're going to be seeing videos on. That's kind of the part of the project I'm at now, and you're going to ask, especially when I show you here a little bit, how come you've got wallpaper on the walls and carpet and flooring and everything is done, but you don't have any power? One of my goals was to make sure that everything could be field repairable and accessible. So I did not want to bury my electrical. I didn't want to bury my gas connections. I didn't want to bury any of the stuff that I needed to get to, including like even the rear tail lights on the trailer. I wanted to be able to get to them if I needed to repair them or they failed or something happened. So it's almost a backwards build, because as I take you around here, it kind of looks like it's done. I don't have any power. The shower does work. I mean, I have limited power, and some of it has been hodgepodge together to be able to take the camper out into the field and do some testing. But everything I'm doing is going to be accessible and external. So getting back to the power part, which you're going to hear me talk about a lot, I need to be off-grid. I wanted to be able to have my batteries charged by one of 3 different ways. Solar, off of the vehicle itself while I was traveling, and plugged in whether I was at home, at a campground, or at some kind of facility where I can get 120 AC power. That hasn't happened yet. You're going to be seeing videos on my install of those systems. The other thing is the heating system. I wanted to make sure that this camper was 3.5 season. My intention isn't really to take it to the Arctic Circle and camp in negative 20 degrees out, but I do want to be able to be inside of it on the fringe seasons. So I went back and forth on this for a long time, whether my fuel choice was going to be diesel or propane. And propane, my concern was a couple-fold, but primarily was that depending on what country we were in, the tanks change fittings and all that garbage that you have to deal with. But ultimately I ended up going with propane for a couple of reasons, and we're going to talk about that in other videos. So that system of the heating, propane is basically going to be used for heating, for the hot water system for the shower, and that is working great and hooked up, and you'll be getting a video on that. And for cooking outside, and my Tembo Tusk runs on propane. So we're going to be going through that. The battery system, inverters for AC power on board, the solar controllers. So there's a whole mess of technology that's going to be put into this thing, and that hasn't happened. Other than that, that's largely what's left to be done. there's a checklist I've got going on of probably, I don't know, there's probably 20 pages of things. I've maybe it's a wish list more than anything of, can I do this, can I do that, maybe this, how about some outside lighting so I can light up the camp when I'm cooking, et cetera, et cetera. But so, in any case, without further ado, I'm going to do the trailer reveal, kind of take you around quickly. The big push to get it done is coming up now. This video that I'm shooting here, we were in September. In early October, I'm going to be at the Overland Expo East down in Virginia. I will have the trailer down there. I'm actually going to be doing a reveal on it and a class that I'm teaching the advantages and disadvantages of having an Overland Expedition trailer. I'm going to be taking the participants in that kind of through my setup here and talking about some of the systems and talking about some of the things that are good and bad and indifferent about this particular setup. So hope to see you guys at Overland Expo, and you'll be getting a ton of videos coming up on this trailer build. If there's anything that you would like to see or have questions about, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll take you around and show you the setup. All right, so I'm going to start here at the back of the trailer. I'm going to go around real quick. Hopefully the lighting is okay in here today. It's fairly nice out. This is, like I said, I'm standing in the doorway coming in from the back. This is my desk setup here. I've got a stool, and this flips down. It goes down like that. This is where the computer, I'm probably going to mount a TV inside here so the screen is larger. The bench that I sit on, I made little hooks right here so it hooks on there so when you're traveling it's not bouncing around. Up here is going to be the hanging area for clothing. And as I come across here, I've kind of trimmed out around the roll-up doors and whatnot. One of the goals here was to try to be as insulated as possible. The Dometic fridge is right here, sits kind of tucked right inside the doorway, so it's easily accessible when you come in to grab stuff for cooking outside. Made sure that the top opens up, you can get in here. Was able to put a kind of a shelf up above that I haven't quite figured out what's going to go in there yet. Down below, that's the stool that I'm talking about that I can sit on. Everything was pretty much finished. To note, in materials that are waterproof. So whether it's the AZEK trim that I've used, that's essentially plastic, or the engineered flooring. By the way, everything opens up, all these cabinets underneath for more additional storage. You can see right here, this is the fill for the water for the cassette toilet, and then down below that, if I pan down this way, is the where the cassette toilet, the tank pulls out. Okay, now we're looking inside the bathroom, and I think on some of our other videos you may have seen some of this. Basically, let me go inside here. The cassette toilet is mounted inside. So unlike in most RVs where you access the tank and the water fill from the outside, I just showed it to you on the other side. That's inside the trailer here. I built some shelving up alongside there, and as I pan around here, you can wave to me. But the sink is down here. Once again, that's both hot and cold water, and then the regular shower with a nice big rain head on it. When you take a shower, I wanted the shower area to be self-contained and watertight, even from the toilet area. So this thing unsnaps right here. These slide over, and as you can see, that door, and I've got another one right here that comes across that cuts it off. This external door here, let me go this way, you can kind of see it better. It slides. That just kind of closes off the bathroom area for privacy, or if you don't want to look at the bathroom, when you're not using it. But it wasn't meant to be a watertight door. it now has 2 beds. For a while, for a year, I've had 1 bed. I built a second one, so it now can sleep 2. It is a little tight, and my reasoning behind that is if it's only me on the road and I can be sleeping on the bottom, I can turn this top bunk into, just take the mattress off of it, and it's got, you know, basically a gigantic countertop storage there for putting, you know, cases and whatnot. And then above that, I've got shelving, not shelving, but cabinets that, you know, open up, and more storage. I've yet to figure out exactly how I'm going to set up the storage in here. You'll notice the ceiling is sort of old school. It looks, you know, it's obviously made to look like tin ceiling, but it's made out of plastic. And I've insulated above that so that I could cut down on the condensation. It's got quite a bit, equivalent of about an R12 insulation. You can see that one of the ceiling vents, I've got 2 more that I'm going to be installing. The lighting, it does not work yet, is all marine grade lighting. They're all touch button, so that's how they turn on and off. So the floor, as you can see, engineered flooring. It's basically also made out of some kind of plastic. The floor of this is actually very well insulated because I have a gap layer underneath, and then I have engineered base floor underneath this, and then this on top of it. So you've got quite an air gap under there. You can see that I'm started to put in some of the USB charging ports, and there's never enough in my opinion, so I've got tons of them. They also come with displays on them so that I can always tell what my battery power is from just about anywhere. I'm using heavy duty carpeting. That's really just carpeting squares, and I can, you know, they just come up. I can pull them up when I want to, easily cleaned. So that's kind of the view of inside the trailer here. I'm standing out back on the outside. This wall is not complete yet. I'm going to be mounting a lot of the electric circuitry and fuse box and stuff like that on this wall, solar charger. But you can see that the on-demand hot water heater has been mounted. The 24-volt pump is down below it. We'll be talking about this in another video, but that's sort of the trailer looking from the front of it, or the back of it, I guess. I put some curtains in mostly to cut down any kind of draft, to make it a little bit cozier feeling on the front here, blocking the roll-up door. As you can see, I built valances around the top to conceal the roll-up door itself, and you can see the kind of the trim going around the whole trailer. And then once again, if you go all the way around at the back, there's the valance for the rear roll-up door as well. Earlier I spoke a little bit of my lack of trim skills. As you can see, my sort of holes which I've got to putty up, and I used square stock because I am no good at making angles in the corners. I did put a nice thermostat in here so that I can see the outdoor and indoor temperature. Right now it looks like it's 72 out and 76 inside. It was closed up most of the day, so it hasn't really got a chance to air out too much yet. You can see above my desk here, there's a panel that sticks out here. This is wood, and I am building it so that you can see the screws in here, that it pops out. There's a gap behind it. That's where I'm going to bring up a lot of my wiring. I'm probably going to mount the inverter here, put some more USB chargers, build a little platform on top here that's going to be able to be sort of like my battery charging station. And like I said, everything is made to come apart. One of the features, let me see if I can, I don't know if I can get to it, but you can see like this, see these pull out. They're actually insulated panels, which adds to the insulation that was already behind them. This gives me access to the rear tail lights and whatnot. So they're just sitting in there, and like I said, everything comes apart very easily. Anyway, so that's a brief tour of the Overland Expedition trailer. You'll see a lot more content coming out in the near future. If you have questions, comments, leave them down below. Please like and subscribe. And we'll see you soon. If you're attending Overland Expo East, I will see you down there. And have a great day. Thanks for watching this video. If you like what we're doing, be sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the truck and tree symbol to your right. Once again, thanks and hope to see you soon.